Mehmed II was born on the 30th of March in 1432 in Edirne, the capital city of the Ottoman states. When Mehmed II was 11 years old, he was sent to Amasya to govern and thus gain experience. As per the custom of Ottoman rulers before his time, Sultan Mehmed II also sent a number of teachers for him to study under. He was influenced in his practice by the practitioners of science, and he followed their approach. In August of 1444, Murad II abdicated the throne to his 12-year-old son, Mehmed II. In his first reign, he defeated a crusade after the Hungarian incursion into his country broke the conditions of a truce. At this time, Mehmed II asked his father Murad II to reclaim the throne, but was refused. Angry at his father, he wrote, "If you are the Sultan, come and lead your army. If I am the Sultan, I hereby order you to come and lead my armies." It was only after receiving this letter that Murad II led the Ottoman armies and won the Battle of Varna in 1444. When Mehmed ascended the throne again in 1451, he devoted himself to strengthening the Ottoman navy and made preparations for taking Constantinople. In the narrow Bosporus Straits, Mehmed erected a fortress called Janissaries, thus gaining control of the strait. Having completed his fortress, Mehmed proceeded to levy a toll on ships passing within reach of the cannons. In 1453, Mehmed commenced the siege of Constantinople with an army of about 80,000 to 200,000 troops and a navy of 320 vessels. In early April, the siege of Constantinople began. At first, the city's walls held off the Turks. The harbor of the Golden Horn was blocked by a boom chain and defended by 28 warships. On the 22nd of April, Mehmed transported his lighter warships overland around the Janissaries colony of Galata and into the Golden Horn's northern shore. 80 galleys were transported a little over 1 mile this way. About a month later, Constantinople fell on the 29th of May, following a 57-day siege. After this conquest, Mehmed moved the Ottoman capital from Adrianople to Constantinople. Mehmed also claimed the title Caesar of the Roman Empire, based on the assertion that Constantinople had been the seat of the capital of the Roman Empire since 330, and whoever possessed the imperial capital was the ruler of the empire. The claim was recognized by the Eastern Orthodox Church, but not by the Catholic Church and most of Western Europe. Mehmed's first campaigns after Constantinople were in the direction of Serbia. The Ottoman army set out towards Serbia in 1454. Ottomans and Hungarians fought during the years till 1456. In that year, the Ottoman army advanced toward Eastern Europe as far as Belgrade, but failed to conquer the city. Civil war broke out in Serbia in 1458, which resulted in the Ottoman conquest of Serbia in 1459. After some battles with Bosnia, it too became a tributary to the Ottomans. By 1460, the Ottomans had achieved a submission of virtually all cities possessed by the Greeks. Then, in 1463, Sultan Mehmed II led an army into Bosnia. The royal city of Bavavac soon fell. Mehmed executed the last Bosnian king and his uncle. Bosnia officially fell in 1463 and became the westernmost province of the Ottoman Empire. The Ottomans regarded Wallachia as a buffer zone between them and the Kingdom of Hungary, and did not meddle in the internal affairs of that country. Between the two primary Balkan powers, Hungary and the Ottomans, there was an enduring struggle to make Wallachia their own vassal. To prevent Wallachia from falling into the Hungarian fold, the Ottomans freed young Vlad III and his brother Radu, who both had spent 4 years as prisoners. In 1456, they both threatened Hungary by besieging Belgrade. Later in 1459, Mehmed sent envoys to Vlad to urge him to pay a delayed tribute of 10,000 ducats and 500 recruits into the Ottoman forces. Vlad refused and had the Ottoman envoys killed by nailing their turbans to their heads on the pretext that they had refused to raise their hats to him, as they only removed their headgear before God. Meanwhile, the Sultan sent Hamza Pasha to make peace and, if necessary, eliminate Vlad III. In the winter of 1462, Vlad III crossed the Danube and massacred or captured several Ottoman forces, then announced his impalement of over 23,000 captive Turks. Mehmed II abandoned his siege of Corinth to launch a punitive attack against Vlad III. In Wallachia, but suffered many casualties in a surprise night attack led by Vlad, who was apparently bent on personally killing the Sultan. After this, the Ottomans captured the Wallachian capital, and Vlad eventually escaped to Hungary. Hostilities broke out between the Venetians and the Ottoman Empire in 1463. The Ottomans commander in central Greece attacked and nearly succeeded in taking the strategically important Venetian fortress of Lepanto shortly after. In early August, the Venetians retook Argos and refortified the Isthmus of Corinth, restoring the Hexamilian Wall and equipping it with many cannons. They then proceeded to besiege the fortress of Corinth, which controlled the northwestern Peloponnese. The campaign was swiftly victorious for the Ottomans. They raised the Hexamilian and advanced into Morea. In 1456, Peter III of Arion agreed to pay the Ottomans an annual tribute of 2,000 gold ducats in order to ensure his southern borders, thus becoming the first of the Moldavian rulers to accept the Turkish demands. His successor, Stephen the Great, rejected the Ottomans, and a series of wars ensued. Mehmed sent an army in 1475 to punish Stephen for his meddling in Wallachia. However, the Ottomans suffered a great defeat at the Battle of Vaslui. After the disaster, Mehmed assembled a large army and entered Moldavia in June of 1476. Finally, when Stephen faced the Ottomans in battle, it began with the Moldavians luring the main Ottoman forces into a forest that was set on fire, causing some Ottoman casualties. Seeing the imminent defeat of his forces, Mehmed charged with his personal guard against the Moldavians, managing to rally the Janissaries and turning the tide of the battle. Turkish Janissaries penetrated inside the forest. The Moldavian army was utterly defeated, and the chroniclers say that the entire battlefield was covered with the bones of the dead. The Ottomans were unable to conquer any of the major Moldavian strongholds and were constantly harassed by small-scale Moldavian attacks. Soon they were also confronted with starvation, a situation that was made worse by an outbreak of the plague, and the Ottoman army returned to Ottoman lands. Mehmed II had called for an Ottoman army to invade Italy in 1480. The Ottoman army captured Otranto in 1480, leaving a garrison of 800 infantry and 500 cavalry behind to defend Otranto. Pope Sixtus IV repeated his 1471 call for a crusade. Hungary and France responded positively to this. The Republic of Venice, however, did not, as it had signed an expensive peace treaty with the Ottomans a year earlier in 1479. In 1481, an army was raised by King Ferdinand I of Naples to be led by his son Alphonso II. A contingent of troops was provided by King Matthias Corvinus of Hungary. Mehmed marched with the Ottoman army to this new campaign, but when reaching Motepe, Istanbul, he became sick. After some days he died on the 3rd of May 1481 at the age of 49 and was buried within the Fatih Mosque complex. He is thought to have been poisoned. The news of Mehmed's death caused great rejoicing in Europe. Church bells were rung and celebrations held. The news was proclaimed in Venice as "The Great Eagle is dead." His death started quarrels about his succession, possibly preventing the sending of Ottoman reinforcements to Otranto. So in the end, the Turkish occupation of Otranto ended by negotiation with Christian forces, permitting the Turks to withdraw to Albania, and Otranto was retaken by papal forces in 1481. Mehmed II left behind an imposing reputation in both the Islamic and Christian worlds. Istanbul's Fatih Sultan Mehmed Bridge, which was completed in 1988, is named after him, and his name and picture appeared on the Turkish 1,000 lira from 1986 to 1992. He was also posthumously dubbed Mehmed the Conqueror.